You are still the answer. You're the answer to everything that's happening in your life and also in our world because you were born with that much importance. It just takes us a while before we can acknowledge that or before we know that. And then my life was meant to tell you that you are the answer. But that message said you are still the answer because when I received it the first time, I didn't believe that or didn't understand it, as you might not have understood that you are the answer as well. Because what happens is we start to grow in our consciousness over time through our experiences, through what we've lived, and depending on what is occurring in our world. And sometimes your life can turn out differently than you ever imagined, and that's what's happened for me. But I'm going to read this message to you first because it will give you greater understanding. It came through last year tomorrow. I'm saying that because today is October the 8th, but this was the message last year on October the 9th. And that will explain what Wilhelm has done, which you would not have seen and I hadn't seen. And that made it challenging for me to accept and probably for you as well, because we've got to accept something new within us and also within our world, or believe that we can create something different than what we've done before. Otherwise, what's the point? And this is the message. You are still the answer. We will repeat the message from this date last year along with a video our messenger recorded so he and you might remember your importance now as you move through your restructuring. You are the answer. That was in 2023. That answer you have sought for any challenges or difficulties you might have experienced in your life or witnessed in your world is within you. You come to the physical plane at the perfect time for your unfolding and that of your planet. But you must use your physical resources of consciousness, energy, and linear time to allow that ascension to manifest within you and your world. We provided a message in 2009 on this date that will aid you today and the rest of this week. It is also the reason for our live conversation with you on Saturday. You stand at a pivotal place in your life and world. You only need to love yourself and do your job. October 2009. Your only job is to fully live and experience your physical life journey. Sometimes you get distracted and mistakenly believe that part of that job is to help others live theirs. You can never accomplish that, and your efforts in that direction are always futile. While that may temporarily distract you, it never serves your ultimate goal of expansion. Your relationships, interactions, and associations with others are always meaningful and purposeful, or they would not exist. These connections are your support system guiding you on your journey of personal growth. However, their purpose is merely to provide a context to choose who you desire to be and how you desire to live your life. You soar when you let down your judgments and barriers to this information. And then there is a video here that you can see, and I'll give you the link to all of this. And you will see very few people have seen it. It was a year ago. And because I wasn't willing to own it. What I'm saying is that that's the difficulty that we all have, is owning our unique gifts and what we came to the world to do. And it's going to be different than anyone else. And it was shocking for me to discover that this person who was doing all these other things in his life ended up with a philosophy that could change the world. That's what happened because it changes your life. And that's what it did for me. But I'm committing to that because, as that said, you are still the solution. I wasn't honoring the solution. You might not have either. But there's nothing happening accidentally in your life or in the world. We just figure it out. And Wilhelm has given us a new way of figuring it out, which is why they had us look at the organization of our planets and stars and all of that to say that each person comes to the world with worth and value. And that's what I'm going to bring. That's what I'm going to finish with this work. And I invite you to do the same. But I had to explain this because when you can't own yourself, you just everything else gets wrecked, and then people don't understand you. You can't live the life you're supposed to have. And that's what I was doing. Because this was new, but now I know if it could heal all of me, it could do so much more for so many people. Now I know people won't understand or believe this because we don't like dealing with our consciousness or looking at that or our shadow work or whatever. I spent 36 years doing all of it. So I do know how you feel. But I also know that you could live this incredible life if you just decide to move through those things. We're always doing it, and we're still doing it as long as we're alive. That's what I'm doing now. See you soon.